I was thinking about this, how they don't make games like they used to. And, a generation is 25 years. Some say it's 20 years. But in the world of video games, just like in the world of crypto and finances and technology, everything evolves so rapidly, right? And just 10 years ago, just 5 years ago, games were different. Just 10 years ago, games were different. But like when you look at the golden age of Xbox 360 timeline, and I'll link this video in the description, there is just no comparison. You're talking about games that actually started trends and moved the industry forward. So let's look at this video together, and then we'll judge it, and I'll give in my 2 cents. A lot of games I didn't play, most games I did. I got in a bunch of Tom Clancy games, but not Ghost Recon. But when you talk about tactical team-based shooters in a single-player space, and this is before games live games as a service was a thing, and I bet you still, these games are gone forever. And this is a time when Ubisoft was really cranking out like real games that catered to their audience, not like the issues that we have today in modern audiences gaming. I still have this Elder Scrolls 4. I still have this in my Steam account. I don't know. I put in like a couple hundred hours, but I'm nowhere near. Not a couple hundred hours. I'm thinking about Skyrim. I would say less than 20, 25 hours on this game. I still have a long way to go. The Hitman game, I played the first Hitman at my friend's house. I had never got into this franchise, but it has only gotten better over the years. Never got into this game, although I own the Prey that was... what was the last Prey game? Hold on, let me check. That's right. I never got into this one, but I own the one that came out in 2017. I bought it on Steam for a sale, and I only made it past the first couple of stages, but never got into it. But that's just another one of 500 plus games that I need to finish. Never got into the Dead Rising franchise. This was at a time like when zombies was really a thing in the early 2010s and stuff like that. Even like the early 2000s to probably mid 2010, especially with the show The Walking Dead. I just wasn't into zombies. Just like even Call of Duty Zombies, I really never got into that whole subgenre of first-person shooters. Saint Row, another game I didn't get into because I was really much more into Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto was really, really my game. I own all of them. Even the top-down version. Okay. This year, I was always into Splinter Cell from the very, very first one with Micro Ironside. I was actually watching Total Recall the other day, and I'm looking, and I did a back-to-back. I went to a certain part in Total Recall, and then I went to a certain part in Starship Troopers, and both of the scenes had Michael Ironside in it. Great actor, phenomenal voice, right? And they just don't make these games like they used to. Like I said, this is a time when Ubisoft was really cranking out like great games, and the composer of this soundtrack, I think his name is Michael McCain, if I'm not mistaken, and he also did the soundtrack for Deus Ex: Human Revolution. The guy is an amazing. He also did the composition for XCOM. Amazing soundtrack. I've listened to this soundtrack more times than I care to admit, believe it or not. It's really great music. And if you look at the timeline above, these are games that were coming out within like either a couple of days, a couple of weeks, or even just a couple of months of each other. And today it's more of an agenda-driven industry, which I just have nothing in common with, to be honest. All right, Call of Duty. Like, if you guys remember, this is my original channel, right? This channel goes back all the way to 2006. I was going to say 2016, 2006, the original OG YouTube channel. And then I started doing gaming like around 2009, 2010. And I started the name of the channel was called Spawn Trap, right? And I started with the mindset of doing a podcast based around the Call of Duty franchise. And I started it with Black Ops, because that game came out in 2010. And it wasn't my first Call of Duty. It was just my first Call of Duty in conjunction with that channel. And then a bunch of dumb shit happened to where I had to start a new channel because this machinima contract that I had, and they actually advised me to start a new channel. That's where Spawn Trap Retribution came in from, right? And then slowly after episode 20, it went from strictly Call of Duty to just overall gaming, and then different topics, and then the rest is history. But when I started playing, my first Call of Duty was COD 4, Modern Warfare. And then I started going backwards. And actually, this game is really, really good. This game is really good. The campaign is really nice. Amazing. So I always said that consoles are only worth their exclusives. I've always said that. I've been gaming primarily. Actually, I started with the, oh God, I'm going to age myself here, bro. The Tandy Color computer back in the early 80s, bro. And then it was the NES and so on and so forth. I've owned almost every, even the TurboGrafx. Oh shit. The TurboGrafx and Neo Geo. I mean, I can, on another time, I'll go down the list of all the consoles that I've owned. And I've actually, when I got into PC gaming, I don't know why Gears of War 1 through 3 is not on Steam. It should be, but it's not going to happen because Microsoft, they want you to sign up for their Microsoft Gaming, Game Pass, all that shit. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to sail the high seas either. I haven't done that in forever for video games because Gabe Newell was right when he says that piracy is actually a service issue. It's not a, oh, I want something for free issue. It's a service issue. And so that's why, like, even pirating music these days is no longer worth it. You got fucking YouTube. You got Spotify, you have Apple Music, right? So to go back to Gears of War, this was when, like, this was a time when, like, Microsoft was truly cranking out games to sell you that piece of plastic, and it was really well worth it, man. Just like Ratchet and Clank was really well worth buying a PS3 for, and I still have my PS3 connected, and I'm going through the God of War franchise, and I'm actually going out and buying the physical OG copies for pennies on the dollar, obviously, on eBay or anywhere else that's like super cheap, even garage sales, right? But Gears of War, man, and I believe it was Steve Jablonsky. He did the composition for Gears of War. Amazing soundtrack, bro, especially the first one. Go out and hear it. And then he also did the first Transformers movie with Michael Bay, and the composition. When you listen to the composition of the Transformers movie, the first one, and then you listen to the first Gears of War soundtrack, you see a lot of similarities, a lot of like cues that you're like, oh yeah, this is Jablonsky. It's fucking great, right? And this is a time when, like, you know, I have to say it because of the landscape that we're in, you know, and people always say, oh, well, you should leave politics out of it. But no, dude, we're like drenched in politics, right? And this was a time when, like, you know, race wasn't an issue. Race wasn't an issue. You know, you had strong black characters. You had strong, you know, characters of other races. It just didn't matter. Why? Because the story. It was the story. It was humanity versus this fucking evil, demonic, time traveling fucking demons, right? That were taking over the world. And so it was more of a gameplay experience. And this is why people, this is why these videos are made. This is why it gets so many views, as to when people go back and say, look at the times that we had. Look where gaming came from. And look where it is today. There's just no comparison. They don't make games like this anymore, bro. I have this game, and there is a character in this game when you were, I think I have this one and part 2, when you were commanding your, it was a great system. It was a great system. And now today you can do like co-op, basically, pretty much. But back then, this is before, all this multiplayer shit. You can command your unit to go here, to do this, to do that. And one of your operators, I remember, and you would command him to go do something, and his voice is so amazing. He would always say, with pleasure. Copy, with pleasure. And I even say that shit to this day, dude. I'm like, sometimes I catch myself saying, with pleasure. Okay, Lost Planet. I never played this game, but it came with a motherboard that I bought like back in 2000, I believe 2007 or 8, something like that. This game came for free with like a motherboard, and I never really played it. The Crackdown franchise, I never got into it. Like now we're moving into like 2007, 2008, right? So let me give you my journey on my Xbox experience, right? So I got the Xbox 360 right when it came out in 2005. And then for the next year, go read up on this on Wikipedia. The failure rate for the Red Ring of Death, RROD, was over 51%. I believe it was 51.4% failure rate. That meant that, let's say your local GameStop sold at the height of its release, right? That meant like, just pick a GameStop, any GameStop, and they sold 10 per day per location. That meant that for every 10 that they sold, probably 5 to maybe 6 within a matter of like 5 to 6 months were fucking bricked. And this was a problem. I have an old ass video on my channel. I'll link that shit in the description as well. Of me going to Sears. Remember Sears? Remember when we went to Sears? And they literally had, I believe, the Wii. What is it? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I found the video. This video is on my channel. It's called Xbox 360 RROD Goodness at Sears. Let's watch this. So basically, I filmed this with like one of my, I think I had a Samsung flip phone, right? And I was with my late wife. We were shopping for some, this was actually during the holiday season. And we were shopping for gifts for the family and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit. And even at Sears, it was a Red Ring of Death. And so to take that back into what I was saying, I owned the original Xbox 360, the white one. And then, like, after it bricked, I went through another one, and within a matter of months, it bricked again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with it. Let me wait until, because, this is when we were reading, like, really reading PC Gamer magazine, GameSpot magazine. Now it's now it's like no longer, I believe it's GameSpot, Game Informer, shit like that. And I was like, let's just wait until Microsoft really steps forward and talks about this, which they had because of class action lawsuits that were popping up, and consumer lawsuits that were in relation to that. And so I'm like, let me step away from the Xbox 360 for a while. And one of the games actually it's going to come into play, and it fucking brings a tear to my eye. But I said, let me just stick right now to the PS3 and my Wii, my original Wii, and I think I had a DS. And that was like the extent of my console gaming, but I was always going back to playing Star Wars Galaxies on PC, that long failed MMO. But yeah, and then I was just holding on to the games, and the bricked Xbox 360, I believe I sold it on eBay just for parts, and that's what was happening. So a lot of these games I didn't get to play because around this time, 07, 08, 09, I was just strictly either gaming on the PS3 or like the occasional PC game, because my PC at the time was really, really weak. It needed an update really bad. This game right here, bro, this game will always be in the top 10. You look at the lists, PC Gamer, Game Informer, whatever .com/game website, you know, when they do their list of greatest games of all time, BioShock is always either top 15, 10, or 5, right? And everything from its gameplay to its presentation to new mechanics to new a new form of just like game narration and pacing. BioShock is just incredible. And by the way, you can, and I've done it before on I believe I've done it on the PS3. I've done it again on the PC when I started like stacking up games on my Steam library. Oh, let me get back in the frame a little bit for you guys. And you can complete this game, and this is not a bullshit story, with just the electrocute and the wrench, right? Just like you can probably finish Half-Life with just the crowbar and one of the guns. It's one of those things that, like, you know, you see speed runs of just like electrocute and wrench. And basically, this is also at a time now when, if you think about it, just like with every first-person shooter, whether it's Call of Duty or even Battlefield, you know how Battlefield gives you, like, for each of the 4 classes, I'm specifically referring to Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, right? You notice how, like, you know, obviously the classes are unlocked, 4 classes, engineer, medic, scout, and so on and so forth, and the support. The starting weapons for each class, just like every other first-person shooter that kind of respects the secret sauce of what makes a first-person shooter, believe it or not, and you can see videos on this all over YouTube, the starting weapons for every game, especially during this era, was everything that you needed. Because think about the psychology and the mentality that goes into developing a game in the mind of the developer, right? That it's like, okay, we need to get the player, you know, past a certain point in this game before we start upping the difficulty, before we start adding new mechanics, before we start, you know, making it more of a complex systems with your talent trees and shit like that. But at the core of the gameplay, you know, let's give him something, a very powerful skill and a weapon to play in tandem to get him to get them through those, you know, those goalposts. And, you know, the electrocute and wrench was all you needed. And then I said to myself, let me see how far I can get. And sure enough, you can get pretty far. I mean, you can actually beat the game with just those 2 talents, dude. But like this game, man, everything. And there's a, you know, the older I'm getting and the more I'm reading into the esoteric, into the, well, let me not go deep into that. Not yet. Not just yet. Right? Into the metaphysical and the esoteric sciences and all this shit. There's deep underlining messages within BioShock, and it goes into a whole bunch of literature that and that's another thing too, is that a lot of these games had deep meaning behind it, and that's why they really stand out over time. Man, we're only fucking 2 minutes into this shit. Never got into this, but this is when Chow Yun-fat and then even John Woo were really big in like the early to mid 2000s, and that whole the resurgence of Hong Kong cinema started, like, becoming popular in the West. I never played this game. I never got into skate. I was always into Tony Hawk Pro Skater from the what was it, the PS1 or PS2 days. And that's when I with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, that's when I came to find out of the group Goldfinger, and that's when Goldfinger became really famous because of that Superman track on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I love ska, by the way. Another game that sells the Xbox as a platform. The same cannot be said today. This is a time when, like, and now I understand as to why Microsoft was holding off for the longest time to bring all their first party titles to the PC. Even though Halo, most people, just forgot about this shit. Halo was a Mac OS. Well, back then it was called Apple OS or whatever it is. It was actually a game developed and designed for the Mac. And Steve Jobs was never into gaming. He was never sold on the concept of gaming. He didn't like gaming, but he had to accept it once iOS really took over and mobile games became a thing. But the Halo franchise, dude, that is the luckiest purchase, the most successful purchase in my eyes that Microsoft has made in the last 20 years. When you're talking about, like, gaming IPs, like Halo today is just a shadow of its former self. I mean, I don't care what they say. Call it Halo Studios, call it whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's 343, and nothing's going to change. Just Halo. Just let these games die, bro. Just let them die. Just let them go. They were great for the time that they came out. Halo actually, and even a lot of people, from what I read, people over at Valve talked about how Halo, and especially with Halo 1 and Halo 2, the science behind and the engineering behind all the matchmaking stuff, all the lobby stuff, the lobby features, the PvP aspects of gaming that we know today really stemmed from Halo. Halo set so many, like, positive standards for the entire industry that we take for granted today. And this is what really, like, made the fucking Xbox Live platform as well. All right. A lot of you guys are going to disagree with me, and it doesn't matter. It's just my opinion. Don't take it as fact. But when I speak, I try to convince myself that I'm speaking facts. This right here, the value proposition for the Orange Box, when you think about the games that were included in this bundle, right? And how the impact that these games left on the industry, to this day, Half-Life is considered by many, and by many metrics, to be the best game ever created. Okay, there is, you can argue until the cows come home, but it doesn't take away the fact that everything that they've done in this game, especially Half-Life 2, right? It just sits on top of the number one, sometimes number 2, 3. I guess there is an argument for Baldur's Gate 3 now that it's really up there with, just like BioShock, up there with the quality of what the game represents and how it has impacted and shifted forward the gaming industry, right? The same could be said for Portal. It's pretty safe to say that Valve doesn't do threes, right? Half-Life 3, Portal 3, whatever. You guys get the idea. But we need another Portal. But since then, you had these community-made labor of love projects that deal with either the prequel or the sequel after it takes place after Portal 2. But Portal, man, every year I go back, just like BioShock, every year I go back and I replay these games because I know them like the back of my head. You know, I replay these games because if you think about the ideology, the music, the ambiance, the pacing of these games, what they represent. Just that's why, remember, I think there was a catchphrase, you got to think in portals. And that's what was amazing about Portal. Half-Life, I mean, I can do a whole nother video just based on Half-Life. But then you have what I like to say, without a shadow of a doubt, and I can go into a deep fucking thesis about this shit. The best first-person shooter, hear me out, the best multiplayer, always online, games as a service, first-person shooter in the industry, and the oldest, up there with Counter-Strike, is Team Fortress 2. Excuse me, I fucked that up. Team Fortress 2. Even if you don't like the art style, even if you don't like the gameplay, I encourage all of you, okay? And not just watch the videos, install, even if you don't play it, install Team Fortress 2 in your Steam library, only to play the developer commentary. You can watch it on YouTube, but it's better if you do it in-game, because then you can just run around, and as you're hearing the developer commentary, you can experience what they're talking about in real time. Like the early adoption of ambient inclusion, like the philosophy of just like map design, the philosophy of character design, how even they talked about the psychological effect on the mind of just the silhouette of the characters without any color representation to distinguish between Team Red and Team Blue. Bro, I mean, they go into deep shit of what makes the most like minute details, right? Of just the balance and the respect and the design of what makes a true first-person shooter, right? And this is the reason why now it's going on, what, 17, some maybe 18 years? But what most people don't understand is that Team Fortress 2, even Team Fortress 2, not Team Fortress, goes back to like the late 90s, dude. Talking about 98, 99, and it had to go back. And this is when they debuted it at the Consumer Electronics Show before E3 was even a thing. And they got feedback from the CES show, and they came back and they scrapped everything and they started from scratch. And that's when they started with that art style, dude. It's just, bro, you know, I always say to myself, but it's good that I played the Call of Duties, that I played the Battlefields, that I played all the other games, only to come back and really truly appreciate. And I actually got this. I think I have my copy of the Orange Box somewhere in storage. And I come back, when I played Team Fortress 2, I said, my God, I should have fucking never stopped playing this game, dude. Because this is where it's at. And, you know, I'm hoping one day that Valve ports over this game to Source 2. And there was a project within Sandbox that this small group of of amateur developers, they ported over Team Fortress 2 to the Source 2 within Sandbox, and all of a sudden, boom, Valve fucking struck them down with a cease and desist. Because they don't want it. For some reason, I don't understand why they don't want it. But Team Fortress 2 started so many things, whether they're good or bad. I understand the counter argument, like, oh, fuck, games always as a service, microtransactions, they started that with the hats. Loot boxes, they started that. You know, always online, they started that. You know, there's so many things that Team Fortress 2 started that people fucking forgot about it, and the industry just went along with it. Oh, like always DRM. Like, that's a thing too. You know, everybody praises Valve and praises Lord Gaben, but, you know, when you read the TOS, when you like update your Steam client and you read the TOS, you really don't own any of those games, bro. This is it right here, bro. Dude. Oh, man, and it goes into Assassin's Creed. I told you, bro, I always shed a tear with this. Call of Duty. Hold on, let me do this. And that music, that lobby music, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was my first Call of Duty, right? Better late than never. But now when you compare it to all the Call of Duties that have released since, I mean, so many, right? Call of Duty Modern Warfare was my first Call of Duty. And my friend Jerry, this is a time when it had come out in 2007. No longer on the Xbox 360 because of the ROD, Red Ring of Death. I decided to wait. You guys know the story. I stayed on PC, PS3, and Wii. And this is a time when multiplayer was free on the PS3, on the PlayStation Network. And so I would go over my friend's house. And he was he was nasty. He was nasty in COD 4. And I would watch him go like 33-0, 40-2, 40-5, just sniping, dude. Just sniping. And I'm like, how is he doing this on the fucking controller, right? And then I got it, and it was just a lot of things wrong with this game, obviously. The martyrdom, the double nades. If only Call of Duty, if only, but they never will, right? And now that Microsoft owns it, it's just another IP in their vast library of games. Isn't it funny? Isn't it ironic that now Microsoft is owning everything? All they would have to do is go back to a simpler time when, just like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, and this is on the heels of the release of Black Ops 6. I see that. I see this Omni movement shit, and I'm like, what is this? It's catering to, maybe I'm getting old, and that's the thing, I'm getting older. And it's catering to this like ADHD, Ritalin-infested fucking TikTok generation, right? That can't think past like 3 seconds from now. And I get it, bro. There's a market for, and they're catering to that market. But like when you compare Black Ops 6, and I gotta admit, like the Call of Duty franchise, the IP, is probably the biggest in the world, with the biggest machine behind them. Now Microsoft, right? I get it. And the level of production, the money, right? The value you get. I get it. There's value, right? But like the presentation, everything from the graphics to the music to everything. Bro, you're talking about like peak development, peak video game development. Too bad now there are small infestations of like modern ideology. That's a whole nother conversation. But man, when you go back to COD 4 Modern Warfare, and remember there was a small competitive scene in that game, and in a lot of those, when the servers started shutting down and people just couldn't afford to host servers anymore, a lot of those dudes went over to CSGO, right? And they became, for lack of a better word, CSGO content creators, and some of them even became professionals, right? And so because there was that taste, that hunger, and Valve knew this. That's why Valve really catered CSGO to that, what's that word called? Competitive, to the competitive scene of first-person shooters. And that's when I think that right after Modern Warfare 2, though, it started going way too commercial. It no longer catered to that small group of like diehard first-person shooter competitive bros. And it just became like an everyday thing, And it's fine for what it is, but like, it's funny how things happen. Like today, I look at Call of Duty, and it's just like going to watch a tentpole movie release, of like whatever Marvel is cranking out these days that just fucking flops on its first day. Not that Call of Duty flops. I'm just saying that kind of just listen. Just forget it. I'm not gonna fucking say anything. All right, man. So Assassin's Creed, this is like a bittersweet moment for me. I remember this game came out when it came out. Hold on. Let it scroll a little bit. Yeah, 2007, towards the end of 2007. And like I said, I was on the PS3 exclusively now. And it came out in November. So the very next month, you got the holidays. And so I remember Lisa, God rest her soul. One day I think it was either or Christmas or my birthday. and she gave me this game. And I open it and I go, oh, honey, this is sweet, but I can't play. She goes, why not? I go, because I'm on the PS3. I'm on the PS3. This is for the 360. And she goes, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that. And so she returned it, and she offered to swap it for the PS3 version. And I said, no, just get me something else, or just get me like a gift card. And I think she did get me a gift card for the equivalent of whatever the game was back when. I think it was like what, $49.99. These games for $50. I don't think games are for $60 yet. You're talking over almost 13, 14, 15 years ago. I think they were like $49.99. And so she gave me a GameStop a gift card, and I bought something else instead. The poor thing, she didn't know, man. She didn't know. I miss her so much. Here we go. Mass Effect. I didn't get into this game until like a couple years later. And I think when I got into this game, I actually played the first one like 1 or 2 years later. Then I didn't play 2 or 3. I played 2 or 3 on Steam, and I bought them. I bought each one individually before the recent a couple years ago, the remastered version. I think it came out last year and a half ago. The remastered version. Bro, whatever you do, it's $40 right now. Wait for the Steam holiday sale. Please, for the love of God, just buy this game, dude. If you've never played it, and even if you did, it's remastered in 4K. It's got the high texture models and shit like that. This game here, and this is the BioWare of yesteryear. You know, I'm not going to get into the drama of Dragon Age, the new one that's coming up by BioWare, but keep in mind, the BioWare today is not the BioWare of 2007. This was a time when these guys were releasing banger games, dude. Like, Mass Effect was another game, much like Half-Life, much like Portal, much like BioShock. This was a time, and they say that a lot of gamers say that just 2007 was like not only the golden era of the Xbox, but the golden age and the golden era of gaming altogether. Mass Effect, it's where it's at, bro. And I played this game, remember when it was capped, I think on Steam, the original release from console to PC, when it debuted on Steam, okay, was like capped at 720. But now you have up to 4K texture models and everything, upscaled up to 4K. But like, this is it, bro. This is it. And the music, bro. I'm really big on music. This is the game that I'm talking about with pleasure. I still have this. Also, a time when Ubisoft respected the Tom Clancy IP and the Tom Clancy name. Now it's just they just throw Tom Clancy on anything, whatever, just to attract these fucking boomers. Dude, till this day, I believe it was the creator of this channel. He did a comparison of Grand Theft Auto 4 versus Grand Theft Auto 5 physics, night and day. And I can't believe Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. My God. Bad Company, dude. I played this game after I played Bad Company 2. Bad Company 2, still have, I think I counted I have them all saved on hard drives on the original Spawn Trap and then Spawn Trap Retribution channels before shutting it all down. I used a service to where you can download all the videos, and you know, my bad, but they downloaded them in 720. But I have so many videos of Bad Company 2. I had so many videos of Bad Company 2. And we need to get over the fact that now you know, DICE, it's a shame, is no longer in charge of the Battlefield franchise. Now it's Vince Zampella, Respawn, and another studio that Vince Zampella is associated with. It's over, bros. It's over. I mean, it's going to be another cash grab IP. I think like the good old days of Battlefield is over. And Bad Company 3 is never going to release. I'd be shocked. I will swallow my words if they released someday, miraculously, Bad Company 3, but I don't think it's going to happen. Dead Space. I still have this game, and I have it on PC. I have it on PC, and I have Dead Space 2, and I believe 3. I have to recheck my library. The way you could dismember zombies, like you could be tactical about it, just a leg or just the arm, and it would still come out you and shit. You had to, like, you know, either dismember with that laser cutting machine, and the way you can go either vertical or horizontal. Bro, it's just like, I mean, studios took chances back then, dude. Now everything is just so cookie cutter. And that game really scared the shit out of me, dude. Like, there are a lot of jump scares in that game. The atmosphere. Never got into Saint Row. Bro, the Far Cry franchise is really, really good. I have all of them on PC. I never got into Fable. Remember, I was already gone by this time with the Xbox as a platform. I came, I think, after 2010, I believe. I bought the Xbox 360, but the black one, remember? And they fixed all the problems. They fixed the internals. They fixed the cooling.
And so our story begins.
Bro, let me tell you something about Fallout 3. It is a crying shame. I have this on Steam, and I have like 40 hours in this game. It is a crying shame that to this day, there is no Steam cloud support for this game. So every time I play it, I get like sick of playing it, or I just like hit a wall, or I'm playing another game, you know, my attention span went somewhere else. And I uninstalled this game. I learned the hard way the first time, and then I kept doing it over and over again over the last several years. I'm like, bro, no cloud support for this game, so you have to start the game from fucking scratch, and or you got to go into the folders, into the save.ini files, and save it for a later date, and or go online, find a save game file somewhere, right, that hopefully is not corrupted, you know, or infested with some shit, and then reinstall that, and then, but I don't want to do that. Like, please, just add cloud support for this game, bro. Another banger, dude. Another banger. I played it after the fact, after I got the black Xbox 360. The redesigned Xbox 360. World at War, I started playing this game once I started covering Call of Duty as a podcast, right? I started going back and buying used versions of older Call of Duties. Really good campaign. Look, this is why I say that Valve is always, dude. I mean, look at the years these games came out with Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, right? They were always ahead of the curve, bro. Like, say what you want to say about Valve, whether you agree with them or not, you know, they did release a lot of like really bad games in the last several years with those, what was it? Dota Heroes, whatever the hell that shit was. And like, I put like, I think 10, 15 hours into that. What was it? Dota All-Stars or some shit. I'm like, what is this game, bro? You know, they were trying to hop on that Hearthstone bandwagon, the card game bandwagon, and they just failed miserably. And then what was the other game that they released, and it was just a failure. But when you look at like the overall portfolio of Valve, just nothing but bangers. And this was a time when these team-based zombie horde mode games were becoming a thing, and they always set themselves apart with the mechanics of the Source engine, and now they're moving on to Source 2. Even the sound design, dude, there is, I think if you go on YouTube and you type in, I think Left 4 Dead commentary, developer commentary, or another exercise that you guys can do. These games are so cheap. You can buy them for pennies on a dollar during a sale, right? Just go in there and just, even if you don't like this type of game, watch the developer commentary, dude. You learn a lot about game design. Never got into Skate 2. I was always team Tony Hawk.
Resident Evil 5.
I really got to get into these games, dude. Like, it's something about like zombie apocalypse outbreak games. Just like, I think it was either Silent Hill or the early days of Resident Evil, like where the camera mechanics was really, really bogged out. It just like it really turned me off. But I heard that the story of these games are just exceptional. Dude, Red Faction. I never played it. I never played Red Faction. I don't know if I own this. I have so many games on Steam. I just don't know what I have anymore. But the gameplay mechanics, I saw a couple videos of like what they were doing back in like 08, 09. You just don't see this anymore, dude. The level of innovation, right? Of moving not only the game, making a great game, but moving the rest of the industry forward. Like those days are over. Now they're just meeting quotas, dude. Prototype. I believe I have it, and I never played it. Another one of those games that I went like crazy during Steam sales. I think. Wait, hold on. Let me double check. Yes, I checked. I own Prototype 2, but not Prototype. The first one, they're both on Steam. I got Prototype 2 on a Steam sale, and I never played it. It's just one of those things, dude. I never played it. Halo came out, what, 2000, 2001, right, for the original Xbox. I never owned an Xbox. Go to my channel, right, go back several videos, and you'll see that I'm playing through the campaign for the very first time through the Master Chief Collection on Steam, right? I was always a PlayStation fanboy. I didn't get into Xbox because I didn't get into Xbox. All my friends, they all owned several platforms at the same time. So if I wanted to play Xbox games, I would just go to their houses. This is in the early 2000s, right? I was already in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, right? And I just aged myself. And so I never got into the Halo franchise, but I always heard amazing things about that. And like, Keemstar, if you think about like where he came from, this dude came from the Halo world. He used to make troll videos back in the early days of Machinima. And that's how he became famous, doing Halo videos. And just like, it was very competitive, but I never really got into first-person shooters with a controller. That's why I never did well, even in my Call of Duty days, on console. I never did well because it just didn't feel organic. Playing keyboard and mouse feels organic, but like no one can take away what Halo has brought to the industry, how Halo has moved the industry forward as far as first-person shooters, not only on consoles, but on PC as well. Bro, I've played this game, the first one, right? I played this game at least 2 to 3 playthroughs because I was waiting like for Borderlands 2. I heard that Borderlands 2 was coming out back in the day, and I'm like, let me play through Borderlands 1 again. I mean, I'm not into these grindy, spongy games anymore like I used to, but dude, it's a good time. It really is a good time. And the reason why I have more hours into Borderlands 2 is because they fixed a lot of mechanics. They fixed the camera. They fixed a lot of the gunplay, the movement. Just Borderlands 2 was probably peak. I bought Borderlands 3 during the Steam sale. I yet to play it. The reason why I don't like the Borderland games, as far as the business model is concerned, it's because it is just much like Civilization. It is just littered bro, it is infested with DLC to the point where like you're spending a couple $100 just on fucking DLC, dude. It's like I'm enough already. And just like you have to wait. That's why now it's like a meme. It's a meme. It's like if you want to enjoy Borderlands, whatever it is, 1, 2, or 3, or if you want to enjoy Civilization, whichever number it's on, the meme is to wait a few years till everything goes on such a fucking drastic sale that you can get it for like $50, $60, $70. You get everything. But just like, bro, it's just my wallet is hurting. Like this is a financial investment now. That's how you got to think of it, of these games. And some of the DLC for these games, like for example, in all the reviews of Borderlands 3, the DLC is even better than the original campaign. So like you're forced to buy it. You're forced to buy it, but it's just more money. Modern Warfare 2, oh my God, dude. This was like peak, bro. This was peak. All the problems that it had, right? If they were to just go back to the simple days of Call of Duty, dude, like what is it going to take to just go back to the simple days, just the simple days, and make it modern, right? Make it modern with modern features, but just go back to the basic principles of like simplicity, dude. Another banger, dude. Another banger. And the mods for this game, right? The mods are just incredible. So you guys are going to be shocked to hear this, but I always associated Assassin's Creed with the Xbox brand. And so I never got into it because Assassin's Creed debuted when the Xbox was really, really starting to get going. You feel me? And so I just, like I said, stayed with, this is what, 2009? I was already gaming on PC, primarily weaning off the PS3. And I just never, dude, I've never played a single Assassin's Creed, dude. I can't believe it. I should... Gosh, just an investment. It just takes me away. Just going back to these older games takes me away from from my main games today, which is Dota 2 and Team Fortress 2. Great game. Picks off right where it left off, and it continues. It goes even deeper into the conspiracy, right, behind Mass Effect 2, and then just the crescendo, the apex was Mass Effect 3, dude. And that's where they should have ended it. I'm going to talk about how, I should say right now, I actually, once I finished Mass Effect 3, I was so hungry for the universe. I was so hungry for the lore. I wanted it to keep going, even though we knew that Sam Shepard was fucking dead. Okay? That's over, right? And I wish they didn't end it like that, but that's the power of great storytelling that BioWare was always committed to, right? And so I pre-ordered, watch this. I pre-ordered Mass Effect Andromeda on Origin, right? And so I ordered the collector's edition, the fucking this, that, and the third edition, whatever it was. It came to $80 back in, what was it? All right. So Mass Effect Andromeda came out in March of 2017. And I remember the price of Ethereum was anywhere from $45 to $50. Okay, you do the math. And ever since then, right? And by the way, I never installed it and I never played to this day. I never played Mass Effect Andromeda, a game that I paid with tax like I think it was $84, $84.99 or something like that, because I was dumb enough to pre-order this like whatever edition, right? I never played it. And I probably never will. Just $85, just fucking thrown into the wind, right? I could have purchased two Ethereum. And I said, from now on, and this is back in 2017, that's why I always say, vote with your dollar, right? And you saw the mess that it was, both storyline and technical glitches and the technical mess it was, right? And that was the end of the franchise. Forget about it. Like leave these games behind. That's when I said to myself, dude, from now on, every game that you even think about pre-ordering, put the money aside and buy Bitcoin. The reason why I use Ethereum as an example is to show you the example of what I could have done. I could have bought 2 Ethereum. Today, it's worth what? Almost not even. What is it worth? $2,500 today, as of this video. $2,500, right? I would have been sitting on $5,000 just off of one game that I didn't buy. And I've been doing that ever since on 2 things. Hey, dude, you thinking about pre-ordering this game? You ready to fucking pull that trigger on Steam, on your Steam wallet? No. Buy Bitcoin. Hey, dude, you thought about buying this game and another trash-ass woke game that just came out? Buy Bitcoin. I just took my resources, my hard-earned dollars, and I said, bro, just invest. Gaming is not an investment. Unless you're running a channel, I can understand that. It's your business, right? I really commend you for it. But like, if you're just a regular consumer, dude, like, stop throwing money away for like utter disappointment for games that don't even follow the basic fundamentals of design and philosophy, right? I know it's entertainment. I know it's all entertainment. But dude, think about how much as gamers, I always say, dude, don't take this as offense. Gamers as a whole, not each and every individual one of you guys who are watching this, gamers as a whole, as a consumer block, they're such fucking dumbasses, dude. They take everything at face value, what these like publishers and developers and like game designers tell you, all this fucking corpo speak. It's bullshit, dude. It's all to make money. That's it. Take your money, right? If you see the writing on the wall in most of these games, boom, you take it back, you put it somewhere else that's going to make you money, that's going to work for you, so you can one day enjoy life and still game. You can still game. Dude, there's hundreds and thousands of games out there, not to mention retro games and emulators, right? What I'm saying is be smart with your money. A lot of, like, the gaming block, that consumer block, and they know this, dude. They have think tanks coming up with like these wicked dark triad methods of trying to sell you shit. They're always just selling you shit, dude. Take your money, remove it from the equation. Just remove it from the equation. Put it somewhere else. Keep playing the game that you're playing. You know, don't get suckered into FOMO. Pretty much. Good game. It's either hit or miss with the BioShock enthusiasts, right? It's good for what it is. I just started playing BioShock Infinite. I just actually installed it yesterday, and it's good, and it runs flawlessly on Linux. By the way, all 3 of these games run flawlessly on Linux. Yeah, bro, dude. I think it was Bad Company 2 that I convinced Hard 8 times. I'm like, dude, you got to get on this shit, dude. You got to get on this shit because you're going to love the destruction. I mean, this was it until this day. I think there's like less than, it's so sad to see it dwindle away. On Steam, there's like less than 50 players online. The most dedicated Battlefield 2, Bad Company 2 gamers are online. This was the game that I decided to finally decided to step away from COD and move towards being a Battlefield only content creator. Back in the days when, like, you know, sticking to one game really, and then sticking to one game and committing to one game really propelled your channel. And that's, listen, at the height of the Spawntrap Retribution channel, I was creeping up on 10,000 subscribers. I mean, I just had to let it go. One day I'll tell you guys exactly what happened. But Battlefield, dude, the sound design and the gameplay, which was the sniping in this game was nasty, dude. Nasty. I've never played Red Dead Redemption. Never played it. By this time, I was exclusively on PC because I updated my 2000 machine. No, 1999 machine PC. And I updated it to whatever was, I think it was the RX 570. Oh my God. I had an RX 570, bro. It's just like, it was like, when you compare it to what we have today, it's just like insane, right? And it was DDR2 memory. I had like, what was it? 8 gigs of DDR2 memory. And by the time this game came out, I was already on gaming on PC. So I never played it. I never played it. Now I actually have a video talking about how it's eminent that they're going to release this on PC. And you know what? If it goes on sale, more than 50% off, if it goes down to like $19.99 on Steam, I'll buy it. Depending on how it runs on Linux, I'll buy it. By the way, long gone are the days of like things not working on Linux. Today, like we're literally approaching Proton version 10, and that is a fucking milestone. Like once we reach Proton level version 10, it's like, bro, everything is plug and play. Just like you got to see how well BioShock Infinite runs on Linux. It's buttery smooth, dude. 300 plus frames, by the way, on Ultra. Okay, on a 5700 XT, but I got a beast CPU though. Fucking Alan Wake, dude. This game, bro. This game was just so innovative with that flashlight, man. It's just like, I am just searching for games that are just innovative like this, like that really take the industry forward. That coupled with like the storytelling aspect and the music and the atmosphere, the ambiance, the pacing. Alan Wake, dude, just really, really great game, man. Part 2, I think it was called American Nightmare. I have it. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't as impactful for me as the first one. This should have been a one and done. If this game was just a little longer, the studios, they make money on certain games and they just want to capitalize and just release sequels for everything, right? But these are one of the games that are just one and dones. And I can understand if that's the philosophy behind a lot of game design. I can understand why Valve won't make a Portal 3. Never got into the Crackdown franchise. Another game that really sold the Xbox for the diehard Xbox fans. Reach. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was the last Bungie title for Halo. And this is when Martin O'Donnell and Michael, I think his name is Salvatore, they came back to compose the music for Reach. The music is just like there are certain tracks that you just hear a couple of bars and you're like, oh yeah, that's Martin O'Donnell. That's fucking Halo. Like you just know. And I can't wait to actually play this game, to play the campaign. I have it. I have it on PC. Never got into the Dead Rising franchise. Dude, I own this game and I never played it. The mods for this game are incredible. I own so many games, dude. I just never played it. I mean, I just fucking basically at this point just throwing my money away. Never got into it. Here it is. This is the game. Bro, this is the game that started Spawn Trap as a channel. And I was so into the lore of Black Ops because I'm like, yo, I actually know a lot about the Vietnam War because I've read so many books on the Vietnam War. And I'm like, let me add my 2 cents in. And so that's where the channel was based off of. And I'll tell you what, Spawn Trap started as a Call of Duty news focused and podcast centric channel. And yeah, man, those were the days, bro. Those were the days.
Why did you do it, Mason? Why?
And you know, the storyline of Black Ops was really interesting. I really liked it. And can you believe I never got into zombies? Only recently on Black Ops 3. And by recently, I mean in the last couple of years. Man, I just never got into that franchise. I can't believe it. I have Dead Space 2. But I've never completed Dead Space 1 because I just like certain games, just like this one level, I forget where it was, when you're in Half-Life 2, when you're going through that town and you team up with a preacher with the shotgun, and just like those fucking head crabs and shit, and just like the zombies who are infested with the dude, it gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies, dude. It really gives me the heebie-jeebies, dude. I'm just like a fucking scaredy cat. Like Alien Isolation, oh my god, it took me so long to finish that game. I was just like, flawless, like perfection. There's really nothing bad you can say about this game. Nothing. It's just like, the more I think about it, and the older I'm getting, I'm starting to really understand the philosophy of Valve of just saying, bro, one and done, fine, part 2 for the fans, but after that, we're done. We're done, because an ideology can only go so far. You know, everything after that, we're just milking it. And the consumers are going to realize that we're milking it. I understand now. The music is amazing. Never got into Dead Island. The height of zombie movies, zombie TV shows, The Walking Dead, zombie video games. I just thought it was a psyop. That's it for me. I believe if I'm not mistaken, 4 is not. I think 4 is on Steam. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for me, Gears 1 through 3 was like the apex of Gears of War. And of course, Microsoft is not going to let that go, bro. You know, they're not going to let that go. They're going to milk it for everything it's got. And just like, that's why that new Gears game, I don't even know what it's called, but it came out, the debut trailer came out a couple months ago. Sure. But the thing is this, you're going to have to sign up for like Microsoft Game Pass or Microsoft Game Services, whatever they want to name it now. It's all, nothing new under the sun. It's all the same shit. It's not going to run on Linux, and so whatever. I mean, they're going to realize, bro, Steam is the largest platform on PC, one of the largest gaming platforms ever as a distribution service. And the reason why they don't want to go over there is because that 33% cut. Lord Gaben gets 33%, dude, from these big-ass publishers, from these big-ass developers. And so, you know, that's why this whole battle between Epic Games now, actually, Epic Game Store and Valve, you know, it's the biggest game in town, and they keep crawling back. They keep crawling back, dude, to Lord Gaben, because they know, fucking release the game on Steam, man. It's just like, it's like the resistance is futile. It is. I fucking hate this game, bro. I really do. It's just like love-hate relationship. I have all of them. And I have it installed right now. And I always say, thank God for cloud saves on Steam. And I always say, I just have, I think, 45 games into this 45 hours into this game. And I just grind and grind and die and grind and die. You've died, you have died, you have died. Right? It's just like, fuck. Am I not good? I play it with controller, by the way. I just can't play this game the way the camera on the first Dark Souls. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna start playing this game. I'm only committed now, right? Remember, games live as a service. it's two games for me. It's Dota 2 and it's Team Fortress 2. I cannot do anything else, and no one can. Don't sit there and say that you can when you cannot, because everybody's trying to be your everyday game. Every game is trying to be your forever game, and you can only stretch that attention span so far. For me, it's Dota 2, which I'm creeping up on 5,000 hours, and then it's Team Fortress 2 when it comes to first-person shooters. Everything else is just shit to me. It's my personal opinion. But for everything else, for every like single-player game, I really have to start investing my late-night gameplays to like only single-player titles, bro. And I have to, you know what? I have to grind through Dark Souls because I have part 2, I have part 3. I've never played, what's that shit on the PS4? That other From Software game? What is it? Oh God, someone write that in the comments. Bloodborne, right? I don't want to have to buy a PS4 for Bloodborne, dude. And you guys seen Bloodborne on PC? Like of course you have to sell the high seas, and of course it's running through emulation. But it's like getting there, dude. And it's gotten so far into its development that I said, yo, From Software is going to have to realize, and Sony is going to have to realize, that there is a demand for this, dude. Release it on Steam, port it over to PC, and watch you make a fucking boatload of money. Okay, this is the game, and I don't know if I want to re-upload a lot of my live commentary videos of Battlefield 3, because you can hear Lisa in the background and she's like laughing and shit of me when me and Nasser were playing. And oh man, every time I hear her voice, I just like, for those of you who don't know, I lost my wife back in 2019, right? Now we were together for 17 years. And this game here was like the beginning of everything, the beginning of many YouTube careers across the board, bro. Like this game was like Michael Jackson Thriller album. It was just a moment in time that will never be repeated again. And if it will, it'll be a game that will shock the masses and really break all boundaries and take the industry forward, right? This was the game. This here game caused, I'm assuming, millions of consumers, millions of gamers from going out, pulling side gigs, like scraping dollars and coins under the fucking mattress to build a new PC for the October release of Battlefield 3. This game here created so many careers, bro, that we know today. Like this game here, Battlefield 3, with that soundtrack, dude, and that the commercial, and even to this day, go on YouTube and type in Battlefield 3. You know the mission when you launch off of the aircraft carrier, and then to think this game came out in 2011. Right? And with the music, when you do a wraparound with you and your I guess your wingman and shit like that, when you're like flying, and you're flying right in the what's it called, the WYSIG, which is the co-pilot back in his seat. There's a name for that. I forget what it's called. Weapons specialist something WYSIG, right? And you look down when you turn over the camera with the mouse and you see the aircraft carrier down below, and then you hear the soundtrack. I'm like, bro, dude, you can fucking get chills, dude. And to think that they moved away from a campaign, and that proves to everyone how important the campaign is, dude. And I can't believe it, bro. Like Battlefield 3, so many memories. I made so many friends online to this day that we're still in contact. It's just like this was a momentous, and so many people that were fed up with Call of Duty came over to Battlefield 3 because of this game. This game was so good, and even though it was nerfed in a very big way on consoles, they're like, fuck it, I'm maxing out this fucking credit card and building a PC, and sure enough, they did. Dude, hardware manufacturers sold so many motherboards, so many CPUs, so many GPUs, so many fucking like mice, and it was a wonderful time to be alive. Although Battlelog was a disaster, by the way. It should have all been in-game. Bro, let me tell you something right now. I've completed this game twice, full playthroughs, right? On my own time. Skyrim will always have a special place in my heart. And there were so many nights I'm playing this game, and I'm there on the mountainside, walking on foot, fully geared up, and it's snowing, and I see like not much of a snowstorm, but just like it's snowing and it's so beautiful, and the music is so I believe what Jeremy Soule, the music of this game has a special place in my heart, dude. It really, really does. And I don't want to get too sentimental, but when Lisa was alive, you know, she always put up with my late night gaming and the glare from the monitors, right? I had 2 monitors, but at the time I would turn one off and just focus on my gaming monitor because I wasn't recording, I wasn't doing anything, just grinding Skyrim late at night, like 2 or 3 in the morning. And poor thing, she was like right next to the bed, right? The desk was right next to my bed. And she would, by this time, like lay on her back towards me so the glare wouldn't bother her late at night. And I would just stand there. And you know, when you stand idle, the camera after like maybe 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds will take over and just start doing this like panoramic 360 view of around your character from above. And they did that on purpose. That was a specific design choice because they knew we want the player just to get lost in this world. And there are certain tracks of Skyrim that really, I start getting teared up, dude, because I always associate those moments, those nights, that music. That music, and I would look over to the side and I would see Lisa, right? And I would say to myself, man, I'm so lucky. I'm a lucky man. And even today, I don't want to end it on a sad note, but even today, when I look back and nights that I drive to work, I would always start putting on Spotify. I would put on the Skyrim soundtrack. And bro, there are moments when I start to associate those images, right, with Skyrim, with the music, with the experience, and then with my beautiful wife who's no longer here, right? And dude, like, you're not a man. I'm not saying it's okay to fucking cry, but like, if you don't feel something, there's fucking something wrong with you, dude. And we all go through life with these gains, big wins, big losses in life. That's what our experience is about. And this is what brings us together as gamers. We all have different stories to tell. We all have different experiences that we can learn from, right? And it's all about, to be honest with you, I'll end it on a somewhat of a philosophical level, a higher state of consciousness that if we stay on that path, we can become better human beings. And I believe, we all learned so much from games, like problem solving with Portal 2, like competitive gaming with Battlefield 3, storytelling with Dark Souls and Gears of War, and so many games, even Skyrim, for lack of a better word. But yeah, that is my overall like memory of Skyrim. I just cannot wait, dude, for Elder Scrolls 6. It's going to be so incredible. And you know what? when he leaves off on this, leaves off on this, this is the last one, I believe, right? He does this for a reason. I saw the end part of this, and he does it because you can tell that this is one of his favorite games. Quote, I saved the best for last, and he gives it the longest outro for the video, but it's somewhat of a social commentary on his behalf of like the experience that we all have in Skyrim. There's a lot of people that don't like Skyrim, that they don't like these types of open world games. But to me, Skyrim is like even up there with top 10 games of all time. And oh my God, don't get me started on the music, bro. And see the zooming in and shit. He's telling you, bro, this is like one of my favorite games. What a game, dude. What an experience. Golden Age of Xbox 360 timeline. I'm going to link it in the description. I'll see you guys on the next one.